All right, we are here. We're live with Reverend Samuel F. Mosteller, the state president of, well, we say the state unit, right?
State president of the SCLC in Georgia.
All right. Well, look, this has been a weekend. This is the 45th anniversary of the Voting Rights Act. That was the day that the prayer vigil for SCLC was held as convened by the elected president, not appointed, the elected president being Reverend Bernice King, Elder Bernice King. Now, before that, it was a mass meeting that a coalition of civil and social rights and voting rights, the people actually, it was concerned citizens that, as well, came together for the mass meeting and then the prayer vigil, and here we are today. This is Civic Sunday as deemed by the coalition for getting out the vote, and in rounding out what that prayer vigil meant as we are from the prayer to the poll. One more day.
10th of August is the runoff for Georgia. Everybody's got to get out and vote.
Okay.
The prayer vigil that was held on the 6th of August and called by President-elect of SCLC National, Elder Bernice King, was a heartfelt, even-toned prayer vigil that really got at the crux of what the problem is inside SCLC. And of course, all ministers and all people who are churched know that prayer is always in order. We had held one earlier in the 28th of May, but that was a prayer vigil that was held for the state of Georgia and Atlanta, and the prayer vigil that ended up being held at Ebenezer on Friday night was a national prayer vigil. And as I got there and participated, I knew well that was the distinction between the two prayer vigils. We just want to thank God that Elder King is listening to God, according to her own testimony there at the prayer vigil, and she's waiting till God gives her the answers that she needs to lead this people forward. And I'm in support of having her seated whenever the time is right, whenever God says so. She needs to be installed and move forward as the 8th president of SCLC National. And I've always said that consistently, no matter what our troubles is. And Dr. King, Bernice King, was the last official act of the board as it was unified. So I don't think there's any legitimate claim to any kind of legitimate complaint for her being president, period. If it is, I think it would be illegitimate, in my own opinion. Georgia's strong. We talked to Elder King on a personal level, and I've told him that no matter who wins in this argument of who's in charge, Georgia is going to win. We assigned the chairman to work with one faction. I'm working with another faction, and then I've also elected to traverse back and forth to make excursions into each camp. And I do that because we need to have a balanced approach. I love them all, but I don't like either one of their positions. I don't like the position of trying to try a family member in the media, and I don't like the idea that somebody's mismanaged money. So I can't go with either faction. Therefore, I have to keep Georgia strong.
All right, Georgia strong.
Yes, Georgia must be strong.
Okay, and ultimately, from the national to the state, getting back to the basics of SCLC, the Southern Christian Leadership Conference, a coming together.
It's clear that without it being Christian-led, that it would just be another social organization. But from its very inception, it was church, pastor-led, and it was Christian leadership at its best. It was 12 years that Dr. King led. It was Christian leadership for the world, on display for the world. One of the quotes of Dr. King was, Gandhi is one of my teachers, but Jesus Christ is my leader. And so once you understand that, you understand the difference between SCLC and other advocacy groups. SCLC needs to go back to its church base, and to go back to its Christian leadership principles, and let Jesus Christ be the leader through the power of the Holy Ghost. And I think after that, all else will fall in place.
Okay, and that is how you say the word for Christian leadership for the SCLC, for all that it has come to. And again, as we are on the almost to the eve of the it is now the primary runoff election, critical to the state of Georgia because we're speaking about governor, Secretary of State,
Senators,
senators,
the Department of Labor,
Attorney General,
Commission of Labor, on and on. Everybody that's important to our way of life, our economic stability, our political ability to have access, they're running. And let us make a concerted effort to get out the vote. The primary election, only 21% of the Democrats turned out. Not to be partisan, but the Republicans turned out 200,000 to 300,000 more voters than we did, and than the Democratic Party did. And so to get out the vote is important for tomorrow, the 10th, and for the general election in November. We're going to have to vote just like we voted when got out the vote when
1965.
In 1965 for the voting rights, and when President Obama was elected.
Okay.
You got to get around the 90 percentile to make the difference.
All right.
90 percentile.
That's what has to happen, and we thank you for taking the time to really bring it full circle from the national to the state for SCLC, from one prayer vigil to the next, from the the ending of the spring to the beginning through the summer, and now, hey, we're moving into the fall, and we're falling into the power of the ballot, which again was what Dr. King led us to. And so in standing, on that, again, getting back to the basics of where the basics was for civil rights.
That's the basis, and we're really set in place now to be able to spring forward in the 21st century with a clean slate, with people now being engaged in a fully committed way. We have really got to do these things for us and for our community, so that our children will have opportunities, that the doors will not be slammed in their faces, but they will be kept open for them to have opportunities as they grow older and move into any of these gateways that they have to move through to be successful in life.
All right.
And it's our responsibility to make sure it's done.
Okay, well, the prayer has gone forth, and now what comes with prayer? Faith in action. That means for us to move.
Get up.
Get up, get out, stand up, and stand in line now at the polls on August 10th from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Remember, you have 2 hours before you go to work, and you can leave 2 hours early to go vote. Exercise your right that so many bled, jailed, and died for.
Untold numbers died.
Thank you. Do not leave the polls without voting. If there is any problem, ask for a provisional ballot. And you can always call 1-866-OUR-VOTE for any help. Make sure you have those government-issued IDs. And thank you so very much, Reverend Samuel Mosteller. We have to drive it home. It is Civic Sunday, and so to this, we provide a civic message, and we thank you for taking the time.
I wouldn't be anywhere else. Thank you so much.
This has been Evangelist Sharon J. Hill. It is the Public Eye Report. It is always in time, on time, and now it is our time. So take the time to go and vote. Images and issues with news you can use, connecting globally, that which we can share, information and education for. We are our brothers and sisters keepers. So keep us with ballot power. Go vote. Go vote.
Go vote.